Okay, before I forget, I needed to remind you about the last video. It was very important and not too many people went and watched it, so I suggest it's one of those really important type videos that you want to see and know about if you're interested in knowing about what's going on. If not, then you probably don't want to watch it. Alright, today I'm going to talk about abrupt climate change. It is coming, and Paul Beckwith on his latest blog talked about it in detail with quite a bit of what ifs, like what happens when abrupt climate change does get here. We see superstorms sweeping across the country and they don't stop. Every time a storm comes, it's a superstorm, and within months or just a year or two, all the neighborhoods are wiped out, right? From flooding, high winds, severe lightning, tornadoes, hurricanes, you know. This is what's coming. It's pretty clear now. So I'm going to put the link to his blog down in the description area, and I'd love it if you went and clicked it and watched it, spread it around. You know, I really think that all scientists and amateur people, scientists and people who are just concerned about climate change need to get together and start doing videos on this. You know, research every bit and part of this stuff and take your favorite part and make a video about it. You know, do something. Come on here and tell me about it, and I'll make sure that the news gets out that you're putting up a climate change video. You know, let's do something. Don't just sit there. All right, so the part that Paul was talking about was that abrupt climate change has been here before. Not when humans lived, but before humans. And he talked about the giant boulders up on the beaches, house size and bigger, that were pushed up by these superstorms out of the ocean because the oceans were in such turmoil that they brought these huge house size and building size boulders and put them up on the beaches in the Bahamas and other places around the world. So we know that superstorms do exist. They will exist again. And this time because of humans' constant ignoring what the truth is. And he talks about the climate denial industry, and I have to really applaud him for that. The oil industry and the hype industry and so many of these places, big business, the New World Order, they're definitely against anything to do with trying to change climate change. Alright, at this point, let's go over to the CO2 count and see what that looks like. Okay, here's the latest CO2 count, 405.66 parts per million. A year ago it was 402.45. So we passed into the red zone, which is what this represents. This is the CO2 continuing to go up. This is the number we're watching. If this number continues to go up, we're really screwed. This year minus last year comes out to 3.12. Let's go look at nitrous. Okay, N20 happens to be one of the worst greenhouse gases there are. It's 300 times more potent at holding heat in than CO2, and it lasts for 114 years before it gets destroyed or turned into something else through chemical reactions in both the air and the water. This is the pie chart of humans adding N20 to the atmosphere. So 74% of all the emissions from humans is coming from agricultural management. In other words, every time you put nitrogen, fertilizer, into the soil, you get a bunch of N2O out into the atmosphere. And of course, the non-organic food requires huge amounts of fertilizer to even grow. So it's sort of a really bad situation that we've gotten ourselves into there. Transportation, vehicles, combustion is 5%. Actual combustion through industrial production is 6%. And then all the rest are also types of combustion, and converting gases from one type to another also releases it. So N2O is a natural part of our atmosphere, but humans are adding about 40% more than is natural. So of course we're going up very quickly chemically in these gases as well as CO2 and methane. Let's take a look at the chart. Okay, this is measured in parts per billion. 1975 we were at 295 parts per billion. Now we're at 330 something, 33, maybe 34. As you can see, this area here is the red zone. This is where we can't go, and we're already into the red zone for N2O. So if you want to know what abrupt climate change looks like, this is it. We've been to these flowers every spring, and we've watched a lot of bumblebees and bees flying around. But as you can see, there are no bees, not one, and there are far fewer flowers. That is what extreme climate change looks like. So I'll keep you updated on these weather changes, and if I find any other scientists that are blogging regularly, I'll put their blogs up too. And if you're doing a blog on weather and the environment, let me know and I'll spread it around, and we'll get together with each other and we'll sort of try and figure out what to do, because it is serious. The end is going to come if we don't do something. I mean, I often think if somebody was hanging from a rope off a 1,000-foot building, and there was a candle right at the side of the rope and it kept blowing over to the rope and the rope was starting to smoke, would you just sit there and continuously work on your phone and drive everywhere? I mean, do you just ignore it? I mean, your rope is on fire, you know, it's starting to slip down a little bit, and you're still on your phone, not caring. That's where we are right now. We're on the rope and the rope is starting to give. I can't make it any plainer than that, really. It's just getting really serious. So I appreciate all the comments on the last video. Please, again, go watch it. Make sure you do. It's important. Spread that one around and also spread this one around. So until next time.